My name is Keshwani. It's Keshwani, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for SAT. We have been solving SAT math problems out of this book here, the official SAT study guide. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 452. Today is our lesson number 16. Today is our beginning of exam number 2. It takes me 15 days, 15 videos to do one exam. Each exam has 3 sections and we do one section in 5 videos. Yesterday was day number 15. We finished exam number 1. This is the beginning of exam number 2. Let's take a look at it. If you've been watching my video, the first 15 videos, you know by now, I explained to you that these questions are arranged in the order of difficulty. This particular section that we are about to do has 20 questions in it, arranged in the order of difficulty, again as I said, on a scale of 1 through 20. The first few are going to be very simple. The first 6 or 7 questions are very straightforward. The ETS, the folks who give you the exam, that entity is called College Board, and College Board is owned by an entity called ETS, Educational Testing Service. These folks do not like to speak about the level of difficulty of the exam, of the question, of a given question in terms of easy, medium and hard. They like to speak of the level of difficulty of a question in levels, in 5 levels. This is level number 1. Problem number 1 and 2 are level number 1. Enough of the talk, let's get going. In the sequence above, the first term is 1 and each term after the first term is 2 more than twice the previous term. Alright, so the first term is 1 and each term after that is 2 more than twice the previous term. The previous term was 1. So you take 2 times the previous term and then you add 2 to it and that gives you 4. The term after that is going to be again 2 times the previous term and then 2 more than that. 2 times the previous term right here and then 2 more than that. So that gives you 10. The one after that is going to be 2 times the previous term and then 2 more than that. 2 times the previous term and 2 more than that. Which is what they're looking for. They're looking for the value of t. And we have just found it. T is 2 times 10, which is 20, plus 2 is 22. That was question number 1. Let's take a look at question number 2. It says a machine can fill 24 cartons in 1 hour. Alright, so in 1 hour, it fills 24 cartons. Now listen, don't worry about trying to do this thing, trying to figure out how many cartons it fills in 1 minute, because if you did that, you're going to end up with a freaking fraction. I don't like that. I don't like to deal with fractions, freaking or otherwise. You understand? Don't do that. Just leave it like that. It cannot be that complicated because it's level number 1, which is why it's important to be aware of these things. You must always know where you are in the exam. This is question number 2. It's a level 1. It cannot be that complicated. Had it been question number 6 or 7, then I would have known right away. Then we would have known right away that eventually we're going to have to figure out how many cartons it makes in a minute. It's a number 1. Question simply is, how many can it fill in 5 minutes? 1 hour it can fill 24 cartons. What we have to realize is that 5 minutes is 1/12 of an hour. That part you do have to realize, because 12 times 5 is 60. You see, 12 times 5 is 60 minutes. Therefore, 5 minutes represents 1/12 of an hour. That part you do have to realize. Therefore, if 1 hour it takes 24 cartons, then in 1/12 of an hour, it must fill 24 times 1/12. For example, if somebody tells us that in 1 hour it fills 24 cartons, how many does it fill in 5 hours? We would have done in 5 hours it would have filled 5 times the amount. In 3 hours it would have filled 3 times the amount. In 1/12 of the hour it will fill 1/12 of the amount. 1/12 of the amount is 2. You divide top and bottom by 12 and you get 2. That's it. The answer is 2. Answer is A. Let's go to the next page. Question number 3. Question number 3 is still a level 1 question. Question number 3 is a level 1 question, and now we are on page number, it's still day 16 obviously. We are on page number 453. Number 3. Kathy sold how many more cars in the month of May than in the months of January and February? Alright, January and February combined. In May, if you look at the chart, you will see that in May we are told that she sold 48 cars. How many more did she sell in May compared to January and February combined? We have to combine them. January and February. In January, if you look at the chart again one more time, it shows that she sold 20. And in February, she drops to 18. 20 plus 18 is 38. Therefore, she sold 10 more cars in May compared to what she sold in January and February combined. That's all. The answer is A. Now listen carefully what I'm about to tell you. On the very top of the page, it says question number 3 and 4 refer to the following graph, where I'm pointing here on the very top. These are called pair problems. They come in pairs. Once in a while they come in triplets. When they come in pair, and when they come in triplet, it doesn't matter where it appears in the exam. When they come in triplet, the first one is easy, the next one is medium, the third one in the triplet is hard. Even if it appears as question number 2, 3 and 4. Or even if they appear as question number 18, 19 and 20. Question number 18 is supposed to be difficult, but not if it's a triplet. If it's triplet, then 18 is going to be easy, 19 is going to be medium, 20 is going to be hard. Here they come in pair, which means the first question is going to be very simple, very straightforward. The next question, it jumps in the difficulty level. It's not going to, the one where we just finished, question number 3, was a level 1. The next question is not going to be level 2. It's going to jump. It's a level 3 question. Either level 3 or level 4 questions. It jumps in the difficulty quite a bit. Let's take a look at it. If the car data from these 6 months were illustrated by a circle graph, which is generally known as a pie chart, what will be the measure of the central angle of the sector that represents the month of April? Alright, fine then. The very first thing we're going to have to figure out is how many total cars there are. How many total cars were sold. We have to figure it out. There is no alternative. So we have to add them all up. I shouldn't have put that freaking pie chart in the middle here. Now it's in my way. So we have January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Oh, there is no July. So January is 20, February is 18, 22 in March, number 30 in April, 48 in May, and 42 in June. Her best month was month of May. Let's add them all up, because that total figure, the grand total, is going to represent the entire circle. And then from that we're going to have to figure out what sector of that circle is represented by the month in question. Just add them up. 8 plus 2 is 10, 8 plus 2 is 10, so 10 plus 10 is 20, so we get a 0, carry 2. 2 plus 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 8. 8 and 4 is 12, 12 plus 8 is 2. I'm doing something wrong here. Let's start again. I'm trying to do it too fast. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 8. Oh, 4 plus 2 is 6. That's where I made a mistake. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 4 is 10. So that's 10 so far. 4, 3, and 1. That's 18. 180 cars. Well, that makes life actually very easy. That makes life very easy. Had she sold 200 cars or 210 cars or 150 cars, that would have made things a little bit more complicated. Do you know why? Why do you suppose that is? Because a circle is 360 degrees. And that's the total number of cars. That tells us that 360 degrees, that tells us that 180 cars, the entire circle, the entire pie chart, which is 180 cars, equals 360 degrees, which is exactly half the amount, which tells us, this implies, it should say 180 cars. 180 cars equal 360 degrees. Therefore, one car equals 2 degrees. One car is represented on the pie chart by 2 degree angle. Which month are we talking about? the month of April. The month of April she sold 30 cars. Well, that makes it very easy. 30 cars is 60 degrees. 30 cars, it's going to be 60 degrees. Because one car is 2 degrees. That's it, we're done. Month of April is going to be represented by a sector of 60 degrees. So you draw your sector anywhere, and that's where it's going to be. This is the easiest scenario. This is 60 degrees, and that's going to be your April. That's all. That's it, we're done. Let's go to next one, number 5. Number 5. Number 5 has to do with what is known as, I'm not going to try to pronounce this word because I do not know how to pronounce it. I always mispronounce it. Spatial ability, I believe is how it's pronounced. The thing with that is that some people are very good with spatial ability and some people stink at it. Some people are lousy at it. This is the ability of your brain to manipulate three-dimensional figure in your mind, even though this is not three-dimensional, it's only two-dimensional, but that's what I'm talking about here. I am very lousy at it. I'm no good at it. But anyway, here's the picture that is given to us. Something to that effect. What I was making sure is that how they relate to each other. They do not, this part and that part, they do not line up with each other. This is a little bit higher, and this one does not end up on this side. This is lined up with this side. And here is the point of rotation. The point of rotation is R. This is our point of rotation, and we are told that we're going to rotate this thing anti-clockwise, or as you like to call it, counterclockwise, as the Americans call it. We're going to rotate it anti-clockwise 90 degrees. In other words, we're going to pick it up and we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. Rotate it anti-clockwise 90 degrees. Now here's what we do. Here's what you do. What I was thinking in my mind is this part. I was concentrating on this sector. What I usually like to do is pick one sector of the whole thing and I just concentrate on that one small tiny bit. I don't look at anything else. So if I were to pick it up, listen, if I were to pick it up, okay, watch my hand. If I were to pick it up and rotate it, so that if I rotate it 90 degrees, this entire part, this side, let's call it A to B, is going to end up at the bottom. A to B will end up at the bottom. Not only it will end up at the bottom, but it will end up at the bottom left. This thing is going to end up at the bottom left. And that's what I was looking at. This thing is going to end up at the bottom left, and this part here is a 3 by 3, 1, 2, and 3 here. This thing is going to end up at the bottom right. This is going to end up at the bottom right. This is going to end up at the bottom left. And that's what I was looking at. And the only thing that meets this... should we digress? We have to digress. I'm sorry, I cannot finish my sentence. I cannot finish my sentence because there is a word that comes to my mind just now. I want to use that word, and I want to make sure that you do not make a fool of yourself by making the mistake that I'm about to tell you about. Assuming that we have actually talked about it in my vocabulary videos, and I'm looking at my vocabulary list here whether or not we covered it. We have not covered this particular word, so I'm going to have to remember to do it in the future. I don't believe I have. The word is this. Criteria. Just listen, just be patient, okay? I'm going with someplace. You have to have faith in somebody who's going to teach you that that person knows what the hell they're talking about, otherwise it's no good. No, okay, very good. So listen, I'm going to use this word in a sentence, and you tell me if there is something wrong with the grammar of the sentence. Okay, here we go. So that's it. So this part has to end up at the bottom left, and this 3 by 3 has to end up in the bottom right, and that's our only criteria. That's our only criteria. Anything that meets that criteria, we're done. And it seems to me that the answer is D. What is wrong with this sentence? I heard people say this, speak like in this manner all the time, and it annoys the hell out of me. That is our only criteria, they will tell you. They will tell you that the only criteria we use is such and such and such. No, no, no. If it's the freaking only one, it cannot be the criteria. Criteria is plural. It's plural. What is the singular of criteria? The singular of criteria is criterion. That's our only criterion. That's our only rule that we have to follow. That's our only measuring stick, if you like. Only way of assessing something. And the one that meets this criterion is answer choice D. And the criterion was simply that this guy has to be on the bottom left, and this guy has to be on the bottom right. And if you look at all the pictures, none of the other four meet this criterion. I will see you tomorrow. Bye now.